Hello, everyone. This is John Burgos, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And this evening, many of you already know, but some of you may not, we are hosting a dear friend of mine. It's someone I love tremendously, my business partner in the live events that we do in Los Angeles, the second Saturday of every month in Great Awakenings, and what a journey that has been. But the information that comes through and the awareness that gets shared in collaboration with Sara is tremendous. But what she brings through for her clients individually and through her channel of the council is truly profound, and it's changed the lives of thousands of people around the world, and certainly has affected my life in tremendous beneficial ways that have left me a changed person in my interaction with Sara in the couple of years that we've known each other. And again, there's a depth of the awareness and in the truth that gets brought in that really acts as a catalyst for what's possible in this change within us that we constantly keep seeking. And what's happening lately, and I see it and feel it in Sara, and I love that we have this intimacy together, is that there's something new that is emerging. And today we're going to be talking about living your greatest calling. And for me, when that was an inspirational thing that I've heard in the past, and it inspired me to step into something greater. And then it got to a point where living the greatest calling could actually also be confusing, because what does that mean? And what sense of responsibility does that carry with it when we say that? And then when we can let that go, there's a transition that's happening. There's an ease and a grace that we're surrendering into as we let go of some of the limiting beliefs of responsibility that came with it, and come to a more empowered place of the organic nature of it, at what's flowing through us, again, organically, what spirit is guiding us towards, and what our soul is calling us to allow ourselves to receive in a deeper level. So again, I'm super excited about this conversation and what Sara's bringing through about this. And it's, again, we're just going to open up to the conversation. I'm sure Sara is going to bring the council in for messages also. And we're going to go through live Q&A. So if you want to ask your personal question of Sara and or the council, you can either type your question onto the webcast page, or if you've dialed in on the phone line, press *2 on the line, and you'll be able to ask your personal question live. And we'll try to get through as many questions there as we can. And it's with that, if you are not familiar with Sara, that I want to read her bio to you, to acclimate you to the energy as we dive into today. So Sara Landon is a globally celebrated transformational leader, visionary, entrepreneur, spiritual advisor to people with big dreams, and channel of the council. The council is an energetic presence of non-physical beings whose expanded awareness and higher level consciousness are guiding people to answer the profound questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What's my life's purpose? Together, Sara and the council are fueling spiritual growth and personal transformation all around the world by helping people to reach greater levels of joy, love, health, wealth, and fulfillment in their lives. Their profound and powerful teachings have proven life-changing to countless people who have applied their wisdom to create positive change in their careers, businesses, relationships, bodies, and daily lives. So whether you've been on a spiritual path your entire life or just beginning to awaken to the power within you, an experience with Sara and the council can indeed be described as coming home to your own truth, which is quite possibly the gift of a lifetime. And with that, Sara, I want to welcome you to today's show, and so looking forward to how this is all unfolding today.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, John. And as you were speaking, my heart was just expanding with deep love and appreciation for you and the incredible co-creative projects and endeavors we get to do together. It's so much fun. But more than anything, being part of the Beyond the Ordinary community here with you has just been such a gift in my life. It has literally changed my life since I met you and we started working together. And the people I have met through this community have just been so impactful and influential in my life. This is just such an incredible community, and I am so grateful to be here with you and for what you have created here. I get the joy of talking to people all over the world that come to me and are introduced to my work through Beyond the Ordinary. And I know I've shared this with you many times, John, but it has just brought me to tears more than once to hear the powerful stories of how people's lives have been transformed since finding beyond the ordinary, and the teachers and people you have introduced them to, and the profound wisdom that you yourself bring in as you're having these conversations. So thank you for what you do and who you are, and I'm just so blessed that I get to create with you, and we'll see where this incredible journey continues to take us. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. And that's been the key in it, is it's really being open to what's unfolding in it. And again, there's a calling that's taken place in years of my work together, but you're really stepping and you're hearing a calling within yourself also, that's guiding you into that spiritual mastery even further. And I'm curious what that means to you and how you're sharing it with your clients, and what the counsel is, the next level of receiving that, what the counsel is suggesting that would assist us in that for all of us.
Yeah, great question. So first off, I truly believe this is the time that we have been preparing for. We have been preparing for lifetimes. We have been preparing in this life, whether you've been aware of it or not. As I've shared many times, the council brought in the awareness that around 2006, 7, 8, we found ourselves going through major life changes in a way that was not necessarily comfortable for most of us. And the life that we knew was beginning to fall apart. If you look at the stock market crash, the real estate market crashed. I personally went through my own journey with cancer and going through a divorce and major changes. I know you went through your separation at that time as well. And we look at that something has been going on here. And when you begin to connect the dots and you see that other people were going through the same thing at the same time, which began to open up this journey of awareness and connection, and maybe even connected them to their intuitive gifts or other gifts that they had that they weren't aware of. But the pieces didn't fall in place yet. There was still more to do. There was still more growth and evolution and expansion that was trying to occur on this journey. And it hasn't always been easy. I know that. I know that we have had to often walk through our biggest fears and really become aware of the beliefs that we picked up in this life that maybe didn't belong to you or that you learned. And we've been doing the work. And I'd like to invite you to shift your awareness from thinking about doing the work and this continual state of processing that sometimes we feel like we're going to, and invite in an opening to go deeper. And that, I believe, is the pathway to living your greatest calling. I totally identify when you use the word responsibility, because I know a lot of people feel this, and maybe you can relate to this, but my entire life I have felt this sense of responsibility for humanity, for the joy and the love and the happiness on this planet, for what's possible. And I don't know where that came from. There's nothing in my childhood that I can point to that says I picked that up somewhere. I truly believe it was part of the blueprint of the divine plan for why I was here. And if you're listening to this, you can probably relate, having this sense of responsibility. And so when we talk about something like living your greatest calling, it might feel heavy. It might feel like this responsibility. And I believe it's actually the opposite. It is freedom. It is surrender. It is confidence. It is alignment to divine orchestration and letting life be a flow for you and letting things show up that you never thought possible. But it really comes down to your self-worth, your value, your self-confidence, and what you believe is possible for yourself. We don't all have the same dreams in our hearts. We all want different things. And those things that you want and desire are are clues to what your best life possible looks like. But we do all these things to keep ourselves from living our best lives. And so it becomes in alignment to something greater than yourself and allowing things to unfold. The divine right time and the divine right way. And divine timing has a lot to do with it. And I believe that we are finally to the place where we have done the work, we have shifted our vibrations, we have come into alignment to our higher selves at a level that we are really ready to jump into the extraordinary life that awaits us and start living our best life now. I really think it is a jump because we have reached a certain level of awareness. And so I, 5 years ago, woke up with the live your greater calling, live your greatest calling, like written across the wall in big bright letters that, you know, this is where you're going and this is what's possible. And it has taken a series of steps for us in our own spiritual evolutions, in your own journey, to be ready for this. But if you're listening to this, whenever you're listening to this, you're ready. And now is our time. And what does that look like from just a general perspective? You know, everybody's best life looks a little bit different, but at a minimum, you know, the possibilities are endless, but at a minimum, it means that love is ever present in your life, in your relationships, in your heart, that you open to a deeper level of love and beingness from a place of vulnerability and innocence, but knowing your self-worth, having the confidence to really love fearlessly. It means that money and abundance flow to you with effortless ease in expected and unexpected ways, and that we no longer do the things that hold us apart from being, for giving and receiving for our value and our gifts. Health and well-being is inevitable when we step into living our best life, when we start stepping into our greatest calling. And this thing that we know as success, whatever that means to you, it becomes this daily occurrence, not something that's elusive and out there ahead of us, but it's this daily occurrence of miracles and divine orchestration and coincidences that just demonstrate to us that we are in the flow and that the manifestation of that which we want is not only possible, but is here for us, and we can take that step into living it. Does that make sense, John?
It does. And I want to ask you, because it's a lot of times when we're stuck in the loop, we're in that process, and our physiology doesn't know how to get out of the way to step into the space that you're inviting us into. What are some things that we can start doing to interrupt the old pattern and step into that self-worth, into the receiving that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So we were talking about this in a master's class called The Beginning of the Month, of how this whole time right here is about opening your heart and going deeper. Opening your heart, opening your heart. So if you want to receive the love that you want, if you want opportunities and coincidences, you've got to open your heart. And so someone asked, how do you open your heart and live from that deeper place of love? And the answer is that you actually just stop doing all the things that close your heart down, because your heart is naturally open. Our natural state is to be open and connected to source and allowing source energy to flow through us and being connected to all things and allowing for divine coincidence and really being at that vibration of love where miracles and all things are possible. That is our natural state. We come into this life that way. But when things happen, we start closing our heart down to protect ourselves because things were painful. We pick up beliefs that don't belong to us, and then we practice them. And these are the things that keep us from really stepping into living our best life, because we're we're walking around with these barriers around our hearts trying to keep ourselves safe. And all it does is create this barrier between you and what you really want. So it's not about doing anything. It's about stop doing the things that cause you to close down your heart. When you start living, and listen, I'm a type A personality, John, my dear, as you know, and, you know, I like to be organized and on top of things and get things done and make things happen. But part of this process is learning to slow down and go within and take the time to look at things instead of muscling your way through them. And that takes being vulnerable. I heard a member of my master's class say this the other day on a podcast that she was doing. She said, people say to me, how is it that I get angry? Because you've done all this spiritual work. You shouldn't get angry. And she said, it's because I have done all this work on myself that I can allow myself to get angry and to feel anger. She said, I could never feel anger before. I was just so closed off and so numb from my emotions that I couldn't feel any of those emotions. But she said the difference is that I don't take it out on other people anymore. I don't carry that anger for days and months unconsciously and get triggered by other people and lash out at other people and hold my body in a vibration that causes it to break down. She says, I feel it, I process it, and I ask it to show me what it wants me to see. And I think you articulate this very eloquently, and I've heard you say it many times, but it's about having a relationship with your feelings. And feelings and emotions are different. Emotions, you know, are kind of up and down. You can be laughing one second, kind of irritated the next second, and feeling a little bit better, but feelings are a much deeper thing. And part of this is learning to slow down and really see what your feelings are trying to show you and how they're trying to guide you. And there is so much coming up right now. I think a lot of people feel this huge momentum of something coming in and almost wanting to go into this like warrior spirit mode. They're really wanting to step into action, right? But I feel like, at least in my experience, what I'm seeing from people is they're kind of being slowed down right now, and that's about to shift. But there's pieces of yourself that you need to restore. I've heard, I think you call it, John, this soul retrieval. But when we've had highly emotional experiences in our life, we lose a little part of ourselves. And that little part of ourselves that we lose is our trust, our vulnerability, our innocence, our freedom, our childlike wonder. When we have highly emotional experiences where we were yelled at or abuse was present or you were humiliated or you were told you're not good enough, this little part of you separates, right? We block off that part of ourself that is truly our divinity and the divine love within us because that was painful. And when we get those fragments of ourselves back, those pieces of ourselves back, we can begin to live fearlessly. And the biggest thing is trust. Trusting yourself. If you have trust issues with anyone else, it is not about them, it is about you. Do you trust yourself? If you trust yourself, you can trust other people. And yes, you can be discerning and determine without judgment whether someone is someone you want to be in a relationship with, someone that you believe to be of like mind or of like values. You can be discerning without judgment and choose. But when you trust yourself, that feels really different than when you don't. A lot of people tell me, I just have a hard time trusting in something greater than me, a source greater than me, a power greater than me. And that all comes back to trusting yourself, because chances are where that separation occurred is when you did receive divine guidance, your intuition told you that wasn't the right person for you or the right job for you or not to do that, and you did it anyway. But you stopped trusting yourself when we made those little decisions where we learned to betray our soul. And so when we allow, right now, what's going on, I believe, and what the council has shared, is that all of these pieces are being restored. Your sense of wonder, your innocence, your trust, your freedom, your vulnerability, your innocence, your childlike ability to just create and find joy in the simple things. But that will take you farther, faster, if you will get all of these pieces of yourself back. And our self-worth, our own value, and our self-confidence are front and center right now, and you cannot ignore this. You have got to look at your self-worth, what you think your worth is, what you think your value is, and the number one thing that I see that keeps people back from living the best life possible for them is their own self-confidence. Your self-confidence is your key. It's your ticket to stepping into living your greatest calling. So where did you lose your self-confidence? It was probably a series of things, and you don't necessarily have to go backwards to go forward. If there is something coming up for you, your only job is to bring it to the light. If there is a belief that no longer serves you, that you want to let go of, if there is this subconscious program lurking in the background that is influencing every decision you make, you don't have to force an effort and muscle and do all this work around it. You just have to bring it to the light so it does not subconsciously control you and your choices anymore. So let these things come to the light, even if there is some emotion in it. I had a very interesting experience of this last week in something that happened in a time when I wanted to be my plan. The best thing to do sometimes is have a plan and then realize you're not running this universe. But, some of the best things in our life are the things that show up on the way to what we think we have planned. So last week I had all this stuff planned that I was going to get done. And very early last week I found out that a childhood, very dear close friend of mine, and probably one of my best friends from high school, was diagnosed with a terminal disease and ended up dying the next day. And, we know all of this stuff, that this is just a transition. She just released the density of the body and reemerged to her joy and love and highest self. And I did feel that connection with her there and her presence even stronger. But it forced me, well, I'll use the correct term. It gave me the opportunity to go back and do some excavation about where I left my innocence, my fearlessness, my vulnerability back in my teenage years when I thought everything was possible and I was invincible. And then I had my first broken heart. And then I experienced what I thought was a failure. And, then I was in an environment where, I was a small fish in a big pond instead of a big fish in a small pond I was always in. And I had to really go back and look at these things. And there was emotion there. There's emotion. But if you will do that, there is a restoring of parts of you that you are going to need as you step into living your greatest calling. And on the other side of that, it was like a slingshot effect. Like The rubber band got pulled back last week. I had to really go in and sit in this stuff. But when I did, and in the moment I felt that fearlessness within me restored, I just shot forward. And that's what's possible for us. When I say that we can literally jump, and the council says we can literally jump into living our best life in what's going to feel like an experience that happened overnight. But it didn't. You've been preparing for this, and you're ready. And it is going to speed up. It's about to expand. We're about to go deeper. And you're going to understand how everything in this life has been guiding you to this moment, and you're going to see how divinely orchestrated it all is. So does that answer? That was kind of a long-winded question, answer to your question, but can you sort of at least feel some of the essence of the energy that's coming through?
Oh, of course, and we can definitely address that with anyone on the Q&A as well, but definitely. And I believe a lot of what you're saying is also these energies that are coming in and how we're being facilitated, supposedly from all these threads that may have seemed like they weren't relating in our own personal transformation, where they're actually coming together and demonstrating where we've actually done the work. And again, what would seem like would take a lot of processing and going back and rehashing, and actually just transform with a sudden awareness. And those are the times that we're truly living in right now. We've done the work, and it's all coalescing into this nexus point it's taken us out of the work part of it and really being into the flow of what's ready to be received.
Yeah. And we talk about the thoughts that we're thinking and how it affects our emotions and our feelings and how that affects our vibration and attracts our experience to us. But, it's really this process of being so present to your life that when something does trigger you, you don't gloss over it. You don't go do the things that help you tune out and numb yourself. You don't just go turn the TV on. You don't just go run, or work out really hard. You actually become more present when you see yourself being triggered, and you allow yourself to really, because there is a subconscious program behind that trigger that's probably something to the effect of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I can't have what I want, nothing good ever lasts, someone else is better than me. And it's this trigger that comes up in us, and we can now live in a way that we can be in these conscious, loving relationships and speak our truth and process through things that trigger us, while also being in our open heart and being open to going deeper and allowing this thing that triggered you to take you deeper, not only into yourself, but into a deeper level of intimacy with that other person. And yes, sometimes people come into our life for, I just think of, and I get really overwhelmed with appreciation and just love in my heart when I think about all the people that came into my life at just the perfect moment that changed my life. And maybe they were just there for a minute, or maybe they were there for years, and many of them are still in my life. But today could be the day that someone comes into your life or comes back into your life, and everything changes for you. But we can invite that in, and yet also go deeper into the relationships we have, and being willing to go deeper into love by processing through these things that are triggering you, and being so in such a deep state of appreciation for whoever it is that triggered you, because we are agreeing to help each other on some level to release these subconscious programs and limiting beliefs that are the very thing that keep us back, hold us back from stepping into living our best life possible. I truly think it all comes back to your self-worth and your value and your confidence, what you believe about yourself. And we begin to see how that shows up when we look at what triggers us, where we are in resistance, where we are in reaction. And that's the key. And if you'll just do this, everything will change for you. There is this extraordinary life that's possible for all of us. I know that. And it's here for us if we're ready to just take that jump. And like I said, the reason I say it's sort of a jump instead of a step is because it's kind of that slingshot effect. It might feel like you're slowing down or going backwards, but that resistance is what is going to propel you forward. Does that make sense, John?
Mm-hmm. Tremendously. Makes a lot of sense. And, part of what we started the call off with was really getting into this space of living your greatest calling. And and again, it's what does that really mean? Right? So what is that calling? How do we take it out of a sense of responsibility and something that we have to acquire into really being in the organic flow of it, and the invitation of loving all aspects in that greatest calling, instead of thinking that we have to oppress or push or pull to achieve that.
Yeah, and we're going to do a little process about that. And as the call unfolds here, I really want to take you all through this process that really came forth of how you can really begin to answer that question of what does it mean to live your greatest calling? Because it's different for everyone. And we're going to go through the process of how to do that and how to really call that forth. And the interesting thing that I want to just open your awareness and expand your awareness of is that when we begin to explore the answer to that question, what does it mean to live my best life possible? How do I live my greatest calling? That you must use your imagination in order to answer those questions and begin to start creating that life that you're stepping into. And you're not just starting to create it now, I assure you. You have been creating it all along, probably longer than you ever realized. You have been creating your best life in this life that's possible for you, and you have been moving in the direction of living your greatest calling. That's what every life experience has been guiding you to. But you can begin to explore what that is using your imagination, using your active imagination and visualization to really step into that and try it on and see what it would be like. We talk so much, and part of what we're going to give away on the special offer is a gift that we'll talk about later that really dives into this. But we learned by using the law of attraction to sort of look out there, figure out what we want, and then go manifest it. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this opportunity that lies between where you are and manifesting in the physical form, that the vibrational reality of anything that you want in your life is available to you. And if you will go into your imagination, the pieces will fit in and they will begin to fit together. And you can step into exploring what that would be like for you without any delay, without any trauma and drama, and without the responsibility and commitment that often causes us to feel like we've lost our freedom and then want to unmanifest something because it doesn't feel like what we thought it would. So an example of this might be, I had a session with a woman the other day that chose never to have children, and now in her life she's wishing she had grandchildren. And some might say, well, that's not possible for me. And so, you look at your life and say, well, my best life possible, I wish I would have had children, so I had grandchildren. And so, the council took her through this process of going into her imagination and imagining what it would feel like to be a grandmother and what would her grandchildren be like. And instantly she knew she had 3 grandchildren, 2 boys, 1 girl. They had names in her imagination. It just all floated in when she was doing this process. And here's the sports that they did, and here's how old they were. Like, just all her active imagination knew exactly what they looked like, what their names were, what they did, and then she started doing things with them in this process, this imagination process that she was doing. And she came out of it and just felt so amazing and was just so alive, and went back into her life and continued to kind of go into her imagination to experience what this would be like and what was possible. And 3 days later, she found out that someone had bought the house next to her. And the people who bought the house next to her had 3 kids. And their names were not exactly the same, but this family moved in. And she started, taking on this kind of grandmothery role to these children that moved in next door, and is having this incredible experience. And these children moved from a state 3 states away, so they were no longer living near their grandparents. And she became kind of their surrogate grandmother. This happened over a couple of months, but this is what I'm talking about. Normally what we do is say, okay, what do I want? And then we immediately, because of our lack of self-worth and judgment of ourselves and lack of self-confidence and feeling like we didn't really live our highest calling, or the shoulds and the should-haves in the world, we start telling ourselves why it's not possible instead of using this process to step into what's possible and then know that it's being created and it's actually moving towards us. That's how clear and capable we are of living our greatest calling. But it's not the process you were taught. We learned to do it a more difficult way. And now we're remembering, because of the vibration we're in, because of the level of consciousness we have, the awareness we have, we know that a better, easier way is possible for us. And that is part of living your greatest calling.
And that's the invitation in that. And we may as well go into the package before we start taking Q&A and perhaps bringing the council in.
Yeah.
But that's the invitation in this 5-week channel course that you're offering on a special offer. So everyone on the call, let's go to this, because this is a really special class. The last class that Sara did, the transformation that took place, and Sara, she's so amazing. She follows the energy of what's coming up for her. And you typically tend to be a step or 2 or 100 ahead of us in this energy, but there's this collaborative energy that comes in as to wants to be transmuted. And the last course you did was so powerful, and I can feel this as the next evolution of what's coming in behind releasing the fear into living your greatest calling. So again, this one promises to be phenomenal as well. And again, if you go to the bottom of it, you can read the testimonials. But everybody, to get on the page, click on the special offer button or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Sara16. It'll take you to that same page. And Sara, why don't you take us through each week where everybody's getting on this course that's, by the way, it's priced at $97 and it's valued at over $350. But yeah, your inspiration behind this, Sara, and what you feel may show up week per week.
Yeah, so this course really is your invitation to a new level of harmonious alignment with your higher self, and really an awareness and an experience of life like nothing we have realized here before. There's so much more possible for us. And again, it's not about working harder or doing more or suffering or struggling. It's about going deeper and answering the questions of who are you at the highest level? What's really possible for your life? And so as we get into the course, we're starting off with what I think is just key, fundamental. Everybody is asking for this. This is really, to me, this is just the foundation of what we need in order to really embody that self-worth and our value and that confidence we talked about. And so the first part is really the invitation from your soul, the higher self connection. So learning how to connect into your highest self and invite in the guidance, awareness, and power of your soul. This is the thing that will help you cultivate more self-worth and greater levels of confidence. And I get this question all the time. This is something that is so big right now. We have people stepping into really discovering their gifts, intuitive gifts, healing gifts, gifts as channels and messengers, and bringing their products and services and companies to the world. And this piece is key and fundamental to really receiving the guidance, awareness, and the power you need to live your best life. So the first part is invitation from your soul, the higher self connection. We're going to talk about how to initiate and expand your higher self connection and the best processes to really access not only direct guidance to the questions you're asking about what your purpose is, what your next perfect step is, what you should do, but also to invite in an expanded level of awareness into what you're doing. So that's going to be just amazing. That alone, I'm so excited for. But part 2 is the mysteries and miracles revealed, aligning with divine orchestration. So this is really the step-by-step process in part 2 to align with divine orchestration so that you experience the miracles, synchronicities, and the state of flow that begins to make everything possible for you in your life. We're going to understand the mystery of coincidences and how coincidences occur from a higher level, from a soul level, what's really going on there, so that you can trust once and for all in divine timing. This is a gift. If I could wrap it up and put a bow on it and give it to everyone I love, it would be that you learn that you would have the gift of trusting in divine timing. I did not come upon this easily in my own life, not necessarily a patient person, but when I learned to trust in divine timing, everything changed, and we are really going to expand on this and talk about how you align with divine orchestration. So part 3 is the secret agenda of your soul, and this is preparing for the quantum leap. So we are going to reveal the secret agenda that your soul has for your expansion of living your greatest calling and your best life possible. So really unlocking the awareness of why every lifetime and experience in this life has been preparing you for this. And really, why now is the time to step into the light after lifetimes of unconsciousness and fear and struggle. So how do we release those lifetimes? How do we release lineages and ancestral patterns and limitation? That is key, critical, imperative to making the quantum leap. And we're going to do this in a release process that makes it easy, that you can use in your life anytime these things come up. But as a collective, we are going to get into a vibration through this process of releasing where we are all prepared for that quantum leap forward. Part 4, full disclosure of the divine plan. haven't you all wanted to see what the divine blueprint for your life was? I mean, that to me is just, if I could do a real-time life review, I've asked for this, and finally I got the download that in this part 4, we are going to see how we integrate every aspect of our existence so that we can begin to write a new divine blueprint for what that best life looks like. So you have an opportunity, no matter where you are in your life, to start writing a new story and to start looking at your life and intentionally and actively start designing it the way you want it to be. But first, we're going to take a little glimpse into what that divine plan for you looks like and what that blueprint for your soul's journey here is. So that's going to be such a cool process. I'm really, really excited for that. It's going to be a bit of a visualization and activation process at the same time. So part 5, and again, this is a 5-week live interactive channeled course with myself and the council that will be starting on June 21st, and there's some really incredible things that are going to prepare you to get ready for this 5-week life-expanding opportunity. But part 5 is the extraordinary promise. Create your best life possible. This is really the part that is going to invite you to take the quantum leap forward to living your extraordinary life. I know with absolute truth, no matter who you are and what you have lived and where you think you're going in this life, or what if you think the best is behind you, I promise you, it only gets better and the best is yet to come, no matter where you are. And you can really live your highest potential on a daily basis. And this part is going to really show you how to do that. The daily practices for living an extraordinary life and the processes. And then really looking at what happens next. And that's up to you. That's up to you. We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to give too much away on that because that's going to be pretty awesome. So anyway, all of this is included in the package. It's the 5-week live interactive online course with Q&A with myself and the council. But I really felt guided to share some things as additional gifts as part of this package that I feel are so important to preparing you for this 5-week transformational experience. So the second item that's included there's only one package. It's $97. As John said, it's valued at $354, and you get all of this for $97. I am so incredibly committed to as many of you taking this quantum leap forward into living your best life possible with me, and I want everyone to be able to afford it and have everything they need to be prepared and ready for this so that we can all take that quantum leap forward together so you all have everything you need to live your greatest calling. So item 2 in the package is a incredible 3-part series called The Next Evolution of Mastery, Beyond the Law of Attraction. And I talked about it a little bit briefly. We all know about the law of attraction. Surely by now you've heard of it, and you've probably used it to manifest things in your life. And maybe you manifested the relationship you wanted, or the job you wanted, or the thing you wanted, and it didn't leave you with that feeling of fulfillment that you thought it would. And so there's something more. There's really a bigger secret here than just the law of attraction. And this 3-part series will take you through that and help you really tap into your own true spiritual power and expand your potential. This course is just incredible, and I encourage everyone who has ever wanted to manifest anything in their life. This is an absolute must course, 3-part course that is just transformational about how you will see manifestation, the law of attraction, your dreams, your desires, your potential, and your power. So item 3, which is just an absolute staple to the Council's teaching, is the 7 steps to realizing your own self-love. The Council says that the greatest thing that you can achieve in the human experience is your own love of self. And so this course will take you through how you cultivate greater levels of self-love. It will take you through the 7 steps process that you can literally print out, stick on your wall, and use every single day to cultivate greater confidence, more self-worth, more self-love, and increase your own sense of value. So this course is just amazing. And there's a very tangible process to this that you can apply on a daily basis. And you will see very quickly if something is out of alignment in your life and you go through that 7-step process, those 7 steps, you will see exactly where you are not realizing your own love of self because of something in your life. A quick example of that is your environment. Our environments are a huge part of self-love. And is your environment around you supporting your own ability to experience self-love? There's amazing pieces in this 7-step process that I never would have thought were part of self-love, but it's just amazing. So you guys definitely will enjoy that. And then item 4 is a course on how to speak your truth and create authentic relationships. This is key to living your best life, because being able to speak your truth, knowing how to be vulnerable, knowing when not to be vulnerable, and knowing how to communicate what is and isn't okay for you, and how to deal with people who maybe get triggered or verbally abusive when you do try to speak your truth, you have got to go through this course. It's a huge part of stepping into living your greater calling, because I believe in order to live our best life, we have to know how to open our heart and speak our truth and communicate lovingly and consciously. And it will also give you one of my favorite parts of this course was someone asked the question, what do you do if you've been in a marriage for like 15 years and literally every time you open your mouth, the other person just instantly gets triggered and upset and never listens to you and can't hear you and always throws things in your face? And the answer to that was absolutely life-changing for me. I just had the hugest aha moment when we went through that piece in the Speaking Your Truth webinar. So you guys will love that. And then finally, and one of my favorite things is being able to do private sessions and coaching sessions with this community. I don't even know how many sessions I've done now with people from the BTO community, but I just absolutely love you guys, and the experiences that come, and the ahas and the shifts and the transformation and the clarity, the clarity that comes from these private sessions is just amazing. So the bonus offer in the package is a $100 off a private session with the council or a coaching session with me. So basically, if you buy the course, you get your money back in one piece here of getting $100 off a private session with the council, a channel session with the council, or a coaching session with me, which is really about what's your purpose, how to create a business or a career that's aligned with your soul's desires or relationships, health, any of those things. So all of that for $97, and the total value, as you mentioned, is $354, and there's a 2-payment option there, and as always.
Yes, which is included as part of the package. So again, everyone that's on the call, the testimonials that I've seen coming in about the changes that were affected and facilitated in the most positive way by participating with Sara and the council, it continues through these live calls. So I do hope that you all take advantage of this. Everyone on the call listening to the replay, it's great information. And again, it's the ease of transformation that's available to it, and into stepping into living your greatest calling is right there for you to experience with Sara and the council. So do take advantage of that. And Sara, with that, let's go ahead and dive into some live Q&A with the audience.
I would love it. Let's do it.
I love it. All right, well, let's start with a caller in Laguna Beach, telephone number ending in 5229.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the
Hello.
call.
Oh my gosh, thanks for taking my call. So I am a new listener, and I've been really, I feel like that slingshot that she was talking about. Like, I've done my work, I'm changing careers, and it's just, I'm kind of like stuck. I just have all this, I guess it's that fear. So I've been kind of following along. All the things you said totally describe where I'm at in my life. So do you have any thoughts or any further words that maybe I could?
So it's interesting. You said you're changing your career and you're doing these things, and then you said you're stuck. And
yeah.
you're making changes. You're overcoming these fears, and you're making changes, and you're moving forward. You're not stuck.
Yeah.
You're not stuck. You just don't know exactly where you're going.
Right.
And you're never going to know that. And so when you get really comfortable with divine orchestration and divine timing and trusting in coincidences and really learning to live in that flow where like every day is this magical reveal of something that you never could have thought of or orchestrated on your own, and you really get comfortable in living in that space, it is absolutely, there is power in surrender. There is freedom in surrender. Surrender is a word I heard many times, and I'm like, yeah, maybe someday, but I'm in control of this for now. Right?
Right. I guess that's the fear of just trusting and letting go and just sitting with it, because I'm just like this ball of excitement. But it's just that word.
Yeah.
It's just
well,
wanting
first
to
off,
know more.
The fact that you're excited is awesome, because I get a lot of people that come to me and say, I have no passion in my life. I have no enthusiasm. I'm not excited about anything. And so the fact that you are is awesome. So follow that excitement, follow that curiosity, follow that joy, and let it lead you where you want to go. When people come to me and that power of joy in your life, the power of excitement and enthusiasm, it can do anything. But when you mix specific expectation with excitement, that's where we trip ourselves up. If we're really, really specific about what that outcome has to be, or we have a really, we have an expectation of exactly what that's going to lead to, if it's different, sometimes we miss the gift that came from it. So if you can just stay in your enthusiasm and your excitement, it'll take you exactly where you need to go. But trust the way that you feel. Trust the way that you feel.
Okay.
And
I'm hanging on.
And this is for everybody. This was, I go back to the trust thing, because, we are living, the council is a higher, an expanded awareness and a higher level consciousness that anybody can connect into. Your higher self, your guides, your team, infinite intelligence. It is just an expanded awareness and a higher level consciousness that can see beyond the limitation of this human experience. Because in our physical bodies, we have these senses that are interpreting to our brain what our reality is. And we think that's all that's going on. That is not even half of what's going on. That's not even a fraction of what's going on. We just can't see everything that's being orchestrated on our behalf. So you have to trust in this power greater than you, this divine orchestration, that you are part of a greater plan and that you are not forgotten, even if you don't see something happening the way you want it to happen today.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I'm wondering if, it does make perfect sense. I'm wondering if you're able to connect with that, or can you give me, because
yes,
I don't know
I'll tell
if
you the easiest process to connect with that. So, and this is for everybody. People come to me and they say, I want to connect with my higher self. I want to start channeling information. I want more clarity, whatever they want. And understand that our vibration of joy, when you are in the vibration of joy, you are most closely aligned with the vibration of infinite intelligence at that time. So if you think about your higher self, think about your soul, think about angels, think about ascended masters, think about your guides.
Okay.
We think about them as being free, of having freedom, of having ultimate abundance, of having ultimate love and peace and joy. We don't ever think of our guides as like really stressed and worried about money. You know, we don't think about ascended masters of being really feeling guilty about how they lost a bunch of money they had. You know, we don't think about it that way, right? So all of that awareness is at a higher vibration beyond the limitation and the heaviness and the density and the fear and the stress and the doubt and the worry. So if you can get yourself above that, then I'm
working on it.
So do the things that bring you joy. Do the things that bring you joy. And so, you know, you don't have to answer me now, but I say this to everybody on the call. Make a list of the things that bring you joy. When you notice that you're getting anxious about things or stressed about something or worried, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what can I do right now that would bring me joy? And go do that thing, because when you go do that thing and you're in the vibration of joy, that's where inspired action comes to you. That's where inspired ideas come to you. That's where your sense of connection and belonging, that's when coincidences happen. That's when you're in the state of flow where miracles happen. And you'll know exactly what to do. But you don't get it from holding yourself in this frustrated, stuck place. You are anything but stuck, I assure you.
I'm just learning to let go gracefully.
Yeah.
So I'm
you got this. You really do. I can hear it and I can feel it, and you've got great things coming for you, but you also have great things that are already here for you.
Okay. Is there any way that you can check in with the
Thank you so much for calling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you for calling. I want to go into other things and get a session with Sarah and with the council. There's a discount code for that to go deeper. It'll be phenomenal for you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to another caller. And didn't mean to cut you off. It's just we can't turn this into many private sessions because there's so many great questions that are coming up to serve everybody. And again, for that depth of awareness, there's so much that was already shared. So again, we're going to run the replay and come back and listen to the replay, because a lot of times what I find, Sarah, is that the answer has already been given, but we're searching so hard to allow our mind to catch up with the energy that was shared that's already providing the resolution, that we want more and more and more until it satisfies the mind. But like you said earlier, we can relax into the flow of it and slow down enough. We'll find that what we already need is already provided. And there's grace in that, and so much more affected transformation, because then we take ownership of it instead of it just being handed to us. And it's key in what's happening in this process of really living our greatest calling. So again, it's wonderful. Let's continue here. I want to go to New Jersey, telephone number ending in 4557.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to the call.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. This is Cindy. I am so enthralled by this whole call, but trying to find the next phase of life and what I'm meant to be doing.
What do you enjoy doing?
Well, I enjoy being around people, and currently I'm a nurse.
Yes. What else?
Being out in nature.
What else?
Which usually at work I'm inside all day.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know.
So I would encourage you to So part of it's the same word, right? What do you enjoy doing? What brings you joy? You can word it however it feels good to you. But I would write that down in a place that you can see it. Like take a 8x10 sheet of paper, get a big Sharpie and say, what brings me joy? What do I enjoy doing? And write it down and put it somewhere, like on your bathroom mirror. And ask yourself this question, because what it's really doing is reprogramming your subconscious mind to start looking for joy and looking for things you enjoy. We have programmed our subconscious mind not to do that. And instead of going back into all these old beliefs and limited beliefs and limitations and programs and trauma, if we can just reprogram our subconscious mind the way we want it to work, we really expedite that process. And that is part of living our best life and stepping into living our greatest calling. So start programming your brain to look for the things that bring you joy, the things you enjoy doing, the things you want to do. And ask yourself that question. And I'm telling you, if you will actually do this, a lot of the counsel's wisdom is very simple. And because it's simple, sometimes people go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then they just go back to doing what they were doing before. And if you would just apply it and do it, I promise you it has the potential to change your life. But if you start focusing on what would be exciting, what do you want to explore next? And then just start speaking from that place. You know, I really enjoy being around other people. It brings me so much joy to connect with others, especially people that I share like-minded ideas, and we learn and grow from each other. And I can just feel this expansion happening in my body when I'm around other people, and we're sharing and growing and learning together. And we're in this cycle of giving and receiving that feels so good that the more I give, the more I feel like I have, and I feel so abundant because there's so much good in this world, and I see that everywhere in the people that I'm around, right? If you just start talking like that, it's just, can you feel what that does to your vibration?
Yes.
Yeah. So start speaking like that. My life is so filled with joy. Every day I'm doing things that I enjoy, and some of it is as simple as just being out in nature. And when I get off of work and I just go and I just sit outside and breathe the fresh air, I can just feel every molecule in my body just healing and expanding, and I feel this light coming into every cell in my body as I just sit out in nature and just breathe in all of the beauty of nature. My whole body, I can just feel it healing and restoring my energy and my aliveness, and it feels so good, right? Did that sound joyful?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So just start speaking this way, and sometimes you have to say it out loud. But start thinking this way and looking at things this way, and you will start seeing the pieces fall in. I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, I want to manifest the love of my life. And I'm like, okay, here's what you do. What are the things that bring you joy? And they're like, well, that has nothing to do with me manifesting the love of my life. And I said, I know, but just if you'll play with me here, what brings you joy? And they'll say, well, I love to go for walks on the beach with my dog. And I love to be out in nature, or I love this particular kind of music. And I'll say, okay, go do those things and be in that vibration. And I can't tell you how many times people will email me or call me back or schedule another session just to tell me that. You won't believe it. I was walking my beach on the dog, and I met this person, and they're the love of my life, right? Or I went and listened to music that, like, they want to heal something in their body, and I'm like, what brings you joy? Okay, go listen to the music. They go to this concert and they meet someone that has found this healing modality for sound therapy, and they started using it, and all of a sudden their body is starting to heal. So this process is pivotal to creating what you want in your life. Even if you don't have clarity of exactly what that looks like, you can be general about what you want. And I think that's sort of what you're asking.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It's a place to start, and I think if you start out general, you may end up specific.
Yes, it's true. But the reason I say general is because, sometimes when we get specific, it's back to that expectation thing. We throw ourselves off, and we so when we get specific and we have an expectation, it doesn't happen. We go into resistance to what is, and we go into reaction of feeling disappointed or it's not happening. But when we're in reaction and resistance, we are not in alignment to our joy. We are not aligned to the state of flow. We are not aligned to divine orchestration. We're not in the creative process. We're literally pulling ourselves into this density where things aren't happening at the rate that they're wanting to happen for you. So if you notice yourself in resistance or reaction, you probably need to be a little less specific and be a little more general, and let go of expectation and be a little more curious.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. That's wonderful. I think what also happens, Sarah, is that as we step into what it is that we want and we're searching for a pinnacle experience in it, we really have to look at where we're actually receiving that which we're asking in different forms in the present moment. So instead of feeding the scarcity of it not being here, how is it showing up in ways that aren't quite landed but are of the energy of the resonance of that in which we're looking for? What is currently bringing us joy? What is currently putting us in a vibrational state where time flies and it seems to go by so effortlessly as opposed to pushing and pulling towards something?
Yeah. When I say, or when the council says, you would not even have the dream in your heart or the desire if it wasn't possible for you, what that really means is you would not even see that thing in your imagination. The thought would not have even popped in your head if the vibrational manifestation of its existence wasn't exactly in the location you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for you. All you have to do is take down the barriers that keep yourself separate from it. You don't have to go anywhere. When I got this, I was speechless. When this really hit me, I was so in awe of how much time and energy and effort I spent in my life chasing after my dreams and my desires and thinking that I could work harder or work smarter or force it and effort it or control and make things happen. And when I got this and I realized that I wouldn't even have the dream or the desire, you would not have the dream in your heart. You wouldn't have the desire. It wouldn't have popped into your imagination or the thought wouldn't have popped into your mind if you were not in the vibrational reality of that thing. If that vibrational manifestation did not exist right where you are. But it is your limiting beliefs about yourself and life. It is your own self-doubt, your lack of self-worth, your lack of self-confidence, that story you keep telling yourself of why it's not possible, all the ways you learned to put barriers around your heart and not be vulnerable and not trust and not be open, that keep those things separate from you. I have said from the beginning when I started this journey that I know that transformation can be easy, effortless, and loving and expeditious. I know it. And this is why. I finally realized at one point in my life why I had that deep sense of belief, and it was when I understood that all I had to do was find the places where I was blocking the very thing I wanted, and it would instantly come in. There's a beautiful Rumi quote, and those of you who follow me on social media, I posted it the other day, and it states it eloquently and perfectly. But our job, your task, is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. It's a Rumi quote. And that's your job. Just find the barriers that you've built against what it is that you want and what's possible for you.
Wonderful. Gotta love some Rumi. Absolutely.
Gotta love some Rumi, John. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Let's go to another question. I've got a question that came from Amy in San Diego. So Amy writes, how do we find our greatest calling when I feel the past 23 years of massage work is about to retire? My passions are food, communications, essential oils, metaphysical world, and I feel the need of clarity to find my true passions and gifts, plus how to do it.
Yeah, yes. So it is awesome that you know what your passions are. That is a big step. Know what your passions are and then do the things you're passionate about. But here's the process that I wanted to bring through. So we talked about how do you know what your greatest calling is. And I'm just going to invite you all, if you're in a safe place that you can do so, just close your eyes for a second and just take a deep breath. It can feel a little heavy sometimes or like a responsibility to think about this calling, and sometimes that might imply to us that you can get it wrong, which I assure you, you cannot get it wrong. But just drop into your heart for a second, that place within you that feels like home. Just move your attention from your head just down into your heart and just take a few deep breaths and just feel your heart opening a little bit. Just feel your body getting a little softer. Feel yourself just getting a little lighter. Just listen to my voice and just know that there's nothing else you have to do right now. Just be here, that you're safe, that you have everything you need and more. That you're exactly where you need to be right now. That you're everything you need to be. You already are. And then ask yourself, what would it feel like if you were living the best life possible for you? What would it feel like? What would it feel like if you were living your greatest calling? What would that feel like to you? What would it feel like to be living your best life possible? And if you will just ask this question and let the answers come, let your imagination, which is divinely guiding you, let it fill in the pieces. We all have a different experience of what our best life would be. But that's why it's the best life possible for you. What would that feel like to live the best life possible for you? And just knowing that as you cultivate greater levels of self-worth and self-confidence, and you go deeper and expand your heart to more love, that more and more and more becomes possible for you. Your calling expands as you expand. But ask yourself the question, what would it feel like? What would it feel like? And I really am feeling called right now to bring in the council. I just feel like this vibration we're all in right now is just perfect. So give me a breath or two and just begin to feel for this vibration as it comes through. We are so pleased to have the opportunity to speak with you all on this fine day. And we come forth at this time as you are ready to step into being everything that you are here to be. And we assure you, you are everything you wish to be. You already are. You always have been. You always will be. You cannot get this life experience wrong, but it can be so much more fun for you. if you will just open your hearts and let that light that is you shine brightly, you will know without any doubt who you are and why you are here and what your purpose is. Open your heart and allow all that you are to shine from you. And when you open to all that is here for you, you make a container to receive and to give. And as you expand that, you receive more, you give more. There is more. You are all so much stronger than you know, so much wiser than you know, so much more loved than you can ever imagine. If you knew all of the love and the awareness and the guidance that was focused on you, you would never spend another second worrying or stressing or doubting yourself. And that awareness is always available to you. But this level of awareness and this expanded experience of consciousness, we are not at some place that you cannot meet us here and access the same answers, the same guidance, the same wisdom, the same clarity. But it is a raising of your vibration beyond the density of the human experience to that of joy and peace and love. And you will come into harmonious alignment, not only with all that is, but in connection to your highest self that is always out ahead of you, orchestrating things on your behalf. Coincidences are normal. They should be your everyday experience. When you begin to understand that you cannot get this wrong and you start tuning into what you feel and trust yourself to feel again, you will know exactly where to go. You will know exactly what to do. You will always feel like you are in the right place at the right time, and trusting that whoever else is there for you. Whatever else is there is for you. And you will know that life is happening for you, not to you. But this is a window of time when you can take the quantum leap forward. The next 3 months of your time are preparing for a very important opening and window to literally jump into the next level of awareness that's possible in physical form, expanding beyond where you have ever been before. This is the time. The door is open, and it is time to go. And there is no judgment ever about anything from our side. But it is your soul that is calling you forward. Your greatest calling is to answer the call of your soul to live the life you intended when you chose to come to this human experience. Karma only exists if you believe it. Limitation only exists if you believe it. If you think you are here to save a broken world, you will continue to see a broken world. If you think you're here to save everyone, you'll always be saving everyone. That's not why you're here. That's not the easy, effortless, harmonious way. There is a way that is possible for you, that you can impact the world, make a difference, inspire others, be in a place of influence where you guide others to find the truth within them. But you do not do that from a place of suffering. You cannot get sick enough to make other people comfortable being sick. You cannot be poor enough to somehow make poor people feel better about being poor. There's beliefs that you have that suffering is life. And nothing could be farther from the truth. Living is life. Joy is life. Happiness is life. Expanding is life. Expressing all that you are. Loving is life. And yes, we understand that there are experiences. And that you have explored all things. You have explored density. You have explored guilt. You have explored lack and limitation. You have explored pain and suffering. You have explored places and people. And it all serves in you stepping into your greatest calling. But now is the time. Everything is here for you. You have everything you need to do this. This is your invitation. It's time. You can be everything you wish to be. Anything and everything is possible for you. And we want you to not only hear that, because while our words are important, this is a vibrational experience of remembering the truth of who you are. And this vibration, this feeling, it's the truth of you, the limitlessness, the divine love, the infinite potential that is you. You are a spark of the divine. You are an extension of Source. You are that which you call God expressing in form. You are the ones bringing the love. You are the ones bringing the peace. You are the ones bringing joy to humanity. You are. And as you step into living your greatest calling, that love only expands. That abundance only expands. That feeling of divine orchestration and miracles only expands. Your well-being is inevitable when you go with the expansion of your vibration to becoming all that you are and always have been. Does that make sense to you, our friend John?
Yes, it makes tremendous sense. And the energetics of it and the invitation into it, it just keeps expanding what's possible and the remembrance of how easy it can be. Again, how organic it is to it when we allow it just to flow in as it divinely wants to. There's no effort in it. There's only awareness and falling deeper into love of ourselves in it.
Indeed. And you are a feeling being, so the truth is always going to come to you as a feeling. And when something feels off, it's because you're believing something, you're making something your truth that is not your truth. So when we say to you, what keeps you from opening your heart to love? Well, why put these barriers between you and the very thing that you want? And if you go into your feelings and you let them guide you, these experiences will happen that will cause you to see the barrier you have put up. And you don't have to blast it away and break it down. It's just a pushing it away. I no longer need you. Thank you for all that you did to protect me or give me the illusion that you were protecting me and keeping me safe, but I never needed you because I've been safe all along. I have been whole and worthy and complete all along. I've been everything I've ever wanted to be. I've been it all along. And thank you for all the people who reminded me of that. That's all they were doing. They were just shining the light in the dark place where I had put up the barrier and hid behind it, the wall that kept the sunshine out. It's time to take down those walls because all of your power to step into the extraordinary life that awaits you is by taking down these walls that you have put up thinking that they would keep you safe. But you never needed them because you've been safe all along. Does that make sense to you, our friend?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for the transmission into that. Again, it's just I feel it deeply within my heart as you express it in words.
Very good. Would you like to take some questions?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Let's continue here. So let's go to a live caller now then. How about let's go to Toronto, Ontario, telephone number ending in 2978.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Oh, sorry, my dog says hello, too. How are you? My name is Sandy. Are you still there?
Sandy.
Hello, Sandy.
Welcome.
What is your question?
Hi. I was just wondering what the council has something to say. I'm, like all the other callers, I probably am all there as well, a little discombobulated with everything that's coming in. And maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed in all the changes that I have to make. So I was just wondering if there's any guidance or message that may carry me along.
Indeed. When you feel overwhelmed, when you feel stuck, when you feel stressed, when you feel like you're working and pushing, this is what we mean by go deeper. Go deeper into yourself. Go deeper into the presence of this moment. Go deeper and open your heart. Go deeper into this. You're not struggling. You're not confused. You're not. There's nothing wrong. Everything that's happening is happening for you. But again, it's this expectation of how it's supposed to look or the way it's supposed to be. And if you will just surrender into the way it is right now, if you will accept just the way it is right now, the instant manifestation will be peace. You will feel that peace in your heart. But when you are thinking that this now should be different, you cause resistance and reaction, and it doesn't feel very good. But if you will just accept just the way it is right now, you will instantly feel peace. That will instantly raise your vibration. If you then go focus on your joy and doing the things that bring you joy, it gets you into the state of allowing, this place of allowing where things start flowing to you and ideas come. And you're always trying to boil the ocean. You're always trying to get from A to Z in one moment. And we assure you, each and every one of you, that it's a series of next perfect steps and next perfect steps and next perfect steps that will reveal themselves to you by following your curiosity and your joy and your enthusiasm one step at a time. It's the perfect unfolding. So what do you really want, our friend? What do you really, really want?
I don't even know if I know. I think just to feel congruent with the peace that is in my heart.
But so the congruency, what you're wanting to feel, is you want to feel the alignment to your soul. You want to feel the alignment to your higher self. You want to feel the guidance that's always available to you from that highest aspect of you that sees from the highest perspective anything and everything that's possible for you and is always orchestrating things for you. When you don't feel in integrity, when you don't feel congruent, when you don't feel that alignment, you feel very lost and confused in the world. And that's why your connection to your highest self, your higher self, your soul is everything. But here's the thing. Your soul knows its own power. So it doesn't need to yell at you. It doesn't need to control you. It doesn't need to manipulate you. Your soul knows its own power. So it's patient. It's quiet. It's humble. It's always there. It's always there. But it's you who has to want that alignment to your soul, that connection to your higher self, more than you want to tell the story of why things are not working for you. You have to want that more than to tell us why you don't have clarity and don't know what to do and why things aren't working. You have to want that connection and that alignment more than anything. So when you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, feeling confused, not knowing what to do, feeling like you're working too hard and pushing and forcing and efforting, stop. Find the relationship with this moment right here that is all you have. And it is in this moment that you will create and move towards what's coming, but you must be in this moment to get there. And that stillness within you, that still, small, quiet, always loving voice within you is your soul. But it's not going to shout over your brain and the thoughts that you're thinking. It's not going to try to out-muscle and out-maneuver your limited beliefs. It's just going to always be there, always available to you, gentle, kindly, speaking to your heart. That's your soul. Does that make sense to you?
That makes unbelievable sense. That was beautiful. Beautiful.
So let's just expand one little thing. You learned to go to your brain to find the answers. What we are inviting you to do is to go into your heart to hear the voice of your soul. The choice is yours always. But we would go into our heart and listen for the voice of our soul. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
We love you, our friend. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for answering, and I love you too. Thank you. Thank you both.
John, do you have any more questions for us?
We do. I want to jump into another question. And before we do that, I want to remind everybody of the special offer. So if you have any problems jumping onto that offer, try refreshing your page. A couple of people have typed in saying that they're having issues. Refresh the web page. Click on the little circle right next to where you would type in the URL. And click on the special offer button, and that should open it for you. And again, it's 5 weeks live with Sara and the council, and again, the profound transmissions that are coming through, and also the discounts for working with Sara and or the council one-on-one are available there. And again, that special offer is $97, is a 2-payment option, and a money-back guarantee as well. So again, it's easily accessible, and I do hope that everyone participates in this special time with Sara and the council. And with that, let's jump on another live call. I'm guided to take a caller from Tacoma, Washington, telephone number ending in 8271.
Hi, my name is Linda, and I just wanted to share one thing that I have been listening to. I've heard Sara a couple of times and the council, and everything that's said just totally resonates with me. And I guess I really don't have a big question. I'm very similar to like the other callers of, I know I have a purpose. I think there's something I'm to do. I've been doing my inner work. I feel very, very complete, in touch with my higher self, feeling the guidance of my higher self, and it just hasn't been revealed, and I just need to have patience to get the clarity and to let things just evolve. So I guess we
loved speaking with you, our friend. We can feel your incredible vibration and the love that is emanating through you, and we are joyful to be in this vibration with you. We want to give you an analogy and give all of you an analogy. You understand the concept of someone going to college to get a degree in order to become a teacher or a doctor, and they practice operating before they ever go into an operating room. Or you think about a firefighter that they practice, they go through all of this training, and then they have these trial runs, and they practice climbing up ladders and using the fire hydrants, and they practice it before they begin the first day. So when they begin the first day of the rest of their life or their career or their vocation, that they're prepared and they're ready, and then they step in and they do the job. And yes, they may do some ongoing continual education as part of their career path, but it was all in the preparing. We invite you to consider this analogy or this example in what is happening for all of you. You're stepping, we really hesitate to use the word warriors, but you're stepping into these spiritual warriors, these conscious leaders, and you begin to think the word leadership is that you have to be running a country or running a company or running something big to be leaders, but you're all leaders. If you're hearing this, you are leaders, you are way showers, you are here at a very important time to bring the consciousness, the awareness, the knowledge, the wisdom, the love, the vibration that is you into your families, into your communities, into your chosen vocations, into the world, into the places that you're passionate about. Everything you've done has just been that preparation. If you think about a firefighter that was coming to save you from a burning building, a bit of an extreme example, but go with us here for a second. You don't want the guy who didn't go through training, right? You don't want the guy or the woman that doesn't know how to climb up the ladder from the fire truck. If your house is on fire, you don't want the fire person to come and not know how to hook the hose up to the fire hydrant. You want to make sure that they've been prepared, right? If a doctor is operating on you, you want to know that he's been practicing and fine-tuning and mastering his skill, his gift, his calling, his unique talent or her unique talent. That's all you've been doing. It's very easy for you to understand those metaphors. Now take it back into your own life and see how everything has been divinely orchestrated and preparing you for this time now to step into the rest of your life.
Yes, and I know I'm right. I know I'm right there.
Yes.
I am totally in process and unfolding. And when I learned to just totally trust and just accept, totally surrender and just accept everything that was coming, the peace. I mean, I've been feeling incredible peace, huge, over the last months and a couple of years actually growing. And I think for me, I've always, as it were, been a doer. I've been very instrumental in doing things and accomplishing some very fine things. And I think just learning to sit back and be patient and then just trusting, I know I'll be guided from within and I know I'll find my way. But it's just that patience, I think, is a newer thing for me, just to be more laid back and just listen and listen.
Well, we would invite you to think about it in a slightly different way. Patience implies a waiting. Patience implies this waiting. Mm-hmm. And we would invite you to think about it as, I have an absolute trust in divine timing and divine orchestration. Yeah. And I absolutely trust in the divine timing of things. I absolutely trust that things are being divinely orchestrated for me, that my soul that has the highest perspective is out ahead of me, orchestrating things on my behalf. So I can be in total peace and acceptance of this now moment because I have absolute trust in divine timing. A little bit different vibration than patience.
Yes, and I like that better, actually. It's more uplifting and joyful, really.
Yes. And we encourage you all to listen back to this again and again, because you will hear things from this new expanded awareness that you're in right now that you didn't hear the first time. And the more you listen to it, the more things you will hear, the more aha moments you will have. But it's all because when you expand to a new place, a new level of awareness opens up to you. So if you were not in the place where you could hear this, as you expand, you will be in this place where new awareness comes through to you. So we encourage you all to listen to this again and again. We love you, our friend Linda. Thank you for your question.
Well, I love you, and I thank you so very much for coming to all of us. And Sara, thank you for being the conduit here, and the channeler, and John for providing this atmosphere for learning.
Of course.
Bless you.
Indeed.
Thank you, Linda. Bless you. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Council, for coming in and for adding this vibration and again inviting us into this awareness, again into the surrender of what's available to us. So wonderful. Everybody listening, again, Sara's special offer and going into the package and the 5-week course is available again by clicking on the special offer button or going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Sara16, and we will be running a replay all week long. We'll send out the replay link a little bit later in an email, and you can always access replays by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replays. And it's with that, Council and Sara, that I want to thank you for today's show. Wow, it's been almost 2 hours, but it's flown by. Thank you for your time, your energy, your love, and the wisdom in calling us all into that space of living our greatest calling.
Indeed, our friend. We tell you all that we came forth because we promised we would, so that you would never forget the truth of who you are and why you are here. You are the brave ones that came forth into this human experience and took a body. And we are here for you, so that you never forget how loved you are, how magnificent you are, how powerful you are, and what is possible for you, so that you can live the life you intended when you chose this experience. So we have enjoyed this interaction with you so very much. We love you. We love you. We love you. And with that, we are complete.
Wonderful. And then as Sara comes back, I want to remind everybody in the special offer, the dates are listed. We'll get clarification on the time that the call will take place. And all calls will be recorded and replays will be available so that you can go back and listen again, or if you happen to miss it, get back into the vibration and stay up to date on each transmission that occurs in the class. Sara, are you back?
Yes. Wow.
Wonderful. That was amazing.
That was amazing. Oh, I could just, the love that is emanating through my being when they're communicating and bringing their vibration through. I just can't even tell you how overwhelming and humbling and beautiful it is. So thank you for the questions, and just everyone who is listening to this, no matter when you're listening, you're a part of this love and expansion that's occurring here. So thank you.
So wonderful, Sara. And Sara, on the clarification, what time will the calls take place on the special offer? Have you decided on the time yet?
The calls are, they're Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time. 3 p.m. Pacific time. But all calls are recorded, and the replays are available for all the calls. And if you cannot attend a call live, you can always email the email provided in the special offer with any questions that you have for the council on that particular topic, or for me for any parts of those courses. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, wonderful as always, Sara. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to the council for just the energy. Amazing.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you in my life. I love you dearly, and it's just so fun to create with you and explore and be on this incredible journey together. So thank you for all that you are and all that you have done for me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And that goes for everyone on today's call listening to the replay.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that you are and for everything that you do to facilitate these transmissions and helping us all reach not a higher level, but really the highest level on a moment-by-moment basis through the awareness that we all bring in here collectively. Even the Inquisition brings in awareness. Your questions brings in the answers. Your answers brings in other questions, and it's this beautiful feedback loop of us really striving and reaching for and owning a higher state of being on a continuous basis, knowing that it's driven by love, that it's supported by love, inspired by love. And you guys are their inspiration. So I bow to each one of you in namaste in acknowledgement of that. And with that, I send you all my love, a huge hug, and look forward to seeing you in the next call. Have a great evening.